What's up, guys? It's Mike Magaro back here with Triple Crown Sports. Happy to have Mike Toomey jumping on the call here with us with Don Reynolds baseball group and one of our TC top prospect scouts. Mike, thanks for jumping on, man.
My pleasure. Look forward to it. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So give us a little bit of background on you as a baseball player and how you first got involved with baseball from, a young age all the way through college and professionally.
I was very fortunate. My father was a assistant football coach at Florida State and at Maryland. So at a very young age, I was exposed to, what happens in that type of situation. I got familiar with some great athletes. And so with that, I started playing baseball at a very young age. My high school days, I went to a Christian Brothers school here in D.C., St. John's. And that was a great experience for me. At that time, it was a military school. And my father, I had some other choices, but him being a Marine at Iwo Jima, he wanted me to get that military experience. And so as it turned out, it was very good for me. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do after graduating from St. John's. So I had some small offers from some ACC schools like Maryland, Wake, and NC State. But I felt in my heart that I needed more time to develop as a person, physically, mentally, emotionally. So I decided to go to a junior college, and I went to Montgomery Junior College in Rockville, Maryland, and it really helped me get my feet on the ground. Wasn't too far away from home. The academics there were very good, and I really felt I was going to get a chance to play, and I did. And then from there, I got a scholarship to play at George Washington University.
Okay, awesome. Any professional ball after that, or what?
No, I was a little guy, and I don't think there was many organizations that were looking for guys 5'7", 150, and I was aware of what my limitations would be. I didn't really expect to move on in that type of a venue. So after that, I taught kindergarten for a year, and that was probably the toughest experience that I had. Although I loved working with the kids, I played a lot of duck, duck, goose, and squirrels and trees. And then it's funny. One day I got a call. I was out on the field with the kids, and it was Bob Talent, who Bob was played at University of Kentucky basketball, and he was one of the baseball coaches besides being the head basketball coach at that time. And Bob said, "We'd like to offer you the head coaching job." Well, I was only 23 years old at the time, and probably the youngest Division I coach in the country, and it was a challenge. I was playing I was coaching with guys that I had already played with, and there was some resentment there. So it took me a few years to get things going and get my guys in there. And as it turned out, we kind of turned things around. I had some great kids and some great assistant coaches, and we moved on. And in 1979, we went to the East Regionals of all place, Florida State, which was my home at that some years prior to. So that's where I stood. I think the big thing that people need to know is that, a lot of these parents say to me, Division I, where a junior college experience for kids aren't great students and not sure what they want to do. Go to a place where they're going to play, get a good education. Teachers know you by name. I think that kind of atmosphere. And then people say, well, what about it? And I say, do you realize that Harper, Pulhos, Piazza are all junior college guys? And I'll tell you what people really don't realize is that there's a pretty good name in Jackie Robinson, who went to a junior college as well. So, I think that there are plenty of kids at NAIA schools, junior colleges, Division II and III schools that have played and are still in the major leagues.
Right. So how did you get into scouting, whenever you go around and evaluate players at the professional level?
It was funny. From that tournament down in Florida State at the regionals, it was a tough tournament. Arkansas, Florida, Florida State, Delaware. There was a couple of scouts there that recommended me to be a professional manager, evaluator, coach. Actually, I managed in the minor leagues for 2 years prior to my scouting with a pirate organization in Alexandria, Virginia. And from there, they made some changes in the front office. I was released, and I got a call from Bob Fontaine Sr., who was a scouting director with the San Francisco Giants. and we said, Mike, we need some experienced guys on the East Coast. Would you like to scout? I said, no, not really. I said, I'm not really interested in scouting. I said, I'd rather be on the field. He said, well, give it 1 year. Well, I gave it 1 year for about 38 and just retired here in 1917. But that was a great experience for me, both as a manager and as a scout, spending half of my time uh, doing the free agent stuff, colleges, high schools, junior colleges, and then the last 10 years of doing the major league work for trades, basically uh, with the other minor league clubs, big league clubs, and then even doing advanced work for the World Series and the playoffs in 214 and 215. So I've been very fortunate to have wear a lot of different hats.
Right, right. So with all that experience with scouting, professionally, coaching in college and everything, what kind of expectations did you have whenever you decided to join up with Don and come scout and be a part of the TC Top Prospects?
Well, I was really excited when Don called me, and when he said we were going to go to tournaments. I just felt it'd be great to get back in the mix again with my fellow scouts, but more importantly, uh, you know, kind of be a guy that could advise kids, parents, interact with them. Parents ask me a lot of questions about, hey, what do you see with my son? Is there anything that you would do mechanically, or what do you think's a good fit academic wise? Those kind of questions. And players would come up to me and say, hey, coach, what'd you see in my delivery? So those are exactly the things that I really enjoy. So, and I expected that those type of things, at least in the evaluation part, and to mix with the parents, which I thought I might do, was exactly what I thought it would be, and that was a good thing.
Right, right. So whenever you are scouting or evaluating a player, whether he's 14, 15 years old, like with the top prospects, or at the professional level, aside from all the measurables like arm strength and 60-yard dash time, or the five tools of, can he hit for power? Is there anything else that you look for whenever you are scouting a player?
Well, absolutely. I think the makeup of a player is most important. Who am I dealing with here? We watch the kids from the time they get off the bus, from the time they go on the field. How does he interact with his own players? Does he wear his hat on backwards? Does he fool around, prior to the game? Does he run balls out? A lot of times a kid will hit a pop up and kind of dog at the first or second base. Another thing that I look for is when I am introduced to a kid is, does he have a good face? That was a term that was used by a lot of the older scouts. Does he look me in the eye when I talk to him? When he shakes my hand, does he give me a good firm handshake? Those are the type of things that I look for. I look for kids that are adept bad handlers. I think in our society now, and I think we've created this, we've kind of turned for the kids who are going to be a little unselfish. It's all about me. Kids don't want to bunt. They don't want to hit and run. They just want to swing the bat. And I think they're unaware of that how important it is for a college coach's standpoint is, can this kid execute with the bat? Another thing I might look for in arm action in pitchers, and then in a tight situation, watching a pitcher and it's a tie score in the last inning and the kid's been throwing 85. I want to see if this kid can reach back and maybe touch 87. This will tell me that the adrenaline's flowing and that this kid has the reserve to actually do that. So those kind of things are really important for me. A lot of times I'll look at the parents and see if this kid projection wise is going to get bigger. I also go back and do my homework and see if this parent or parents have played college volleyball or maybe another sport. I go watch kids play basketball or football to see how tough they are. Will they dive for balls? Those type of things are very, very helpful to a scout. When you're looking at the whole concept of the player, it's the sixth tool for me. All of those things, that we're talking about.
Right, right. So, and one thing that we've talked about a lot, or in today's age with baseball, is the technology that we have access to. So, the Rapsodas, the Blast Motions, the TrackMans, all these, different analytical numbers that have been going out there. Have you seen, with all the new technology within the sport, how has that really changed baseball than how it was, back whenever you were coaching at George Washington?
Well, I think I'm an old school guy, and but I think that with all this technology, that you have to, adhere to some of the new things that they're going on that I think are pretty good. But the bottom line for me is can this guy play? Can he execute in tough situations? Those type of things. If it's hit hard, it's hit hard. I mean, I don't need some type of measurement to see if this guy, can do things to help our club win. And I think this is what the college coaches are looking for, irregardless of a guy's bat speed. I've seen plenty of guys that have very good bat speed, but you know what? They can't hit. They swing and miss repeatedly. I've seen plenty of guys on the radar gun that throw 96, 97, but you know what? They don't know how to pitch. They vary their arm slots. A lot of them are not very sound mechanically. They can't repeat their delivery. So as a coach and a teacher, I'm more interested in that. Mechanically, can the things that he's doing be fixed? These are the type of things that I'm looking for, really. And like I said, technology is good to a point, but I'm kind of an old school guy. Just get it done. See ball, hit it, and try to keep things as simple for the kids as I can.
Right, right. So you think with all the new technology and numbers that are being thrown out there, like spin rate and things like that, does that allow or kind of give some scouts a shortcut where they might miss on a guy, or what's missing from those numbers that we see, all over the internet and all over Twitter?
I think what you have now is you have a lot of parents getting too involved with and kids. I'll give you an example. A kid may go to a certain organization, and here's what happens. The organization will do a report on this young man, and they make him sound like the next Babe Ruth, when in fact, and the reason a lot of places, and I don't mean to be demeaning, but what a lot of these organizations will do is they'll doctor up the report where this kid really looks like a hell of a player, when in fact, I see the same kid in a high school situation, and it's an entirely different looking kid. This guy throws 86. When I see him, he's throwing the 79. And the reason they do that is because they want that kid back the next 2 or 3 years and shell out $600 or $700. And I see that a lot. It's a a cash thing, quick cash for the organization, and it's a business that a lot of times are run by non-baseball people that never played, never coached, never been on the field, but yet they have all the answers. And I think that because of all the involvement, there's a lot of confusion with the kids, and they're inundated with poor information.
Right, right. So with that, and talking about, parents being over involved, at the end of the day, they're still parents, but they want to be. What are your thoughts on the social media trend now with both, all players, parents, club coaches, and organizations? And then what have you heard from being in professional baseball from ownership on, their opinions on the elevated use of social media, let's call it?
I think the most important thing in our game is player development. And the way things are set up now, you might have winning is the end all. And we're suffering because these kids aren't getting good instruction. We need coaches that are passionate about the game. We're losing kids to other sports like lacrosse, soccer, because baseball can be a slow game. So as a teacher and or coach, we need to have better organized practices, stations, so that kids are moving at all times. They're bored with baseball. They're standing around. So it's going to take that type of a person to encourage these kids and to have different stations, different teachers who actually know the game. And my feeling is this. I feel that every coach, regardless of what level, must attend 2 or 3 clinics each year with a college coach or professional coach to become privy to throwing, hitting, all the skills in baseball, And when we do that, I think we're going to see a big improvement the way the game is played.
Right. All right. Absolutely. So with the TC Top Prospects teams coming up and playing out in Pathway, Arizona, and Tucson coming up here in a few weeks, what's the message that you would like to relay to those players and parents that'll be attending that event out there?
Well, first of all, let me tell you, it's funny for me because I forget that these kids are only 14, and there's some big boys out there. And so I had to kind of step back and say, wow, these pretty good looking kids. They're bigger, they're stronger. Some of them been exposed to some good coaching. And I think the biggest thing is that you want to relay, and I'm really excited about the fact that we're going to have these kids on the field where we can share. You've got almost 200, 300 years of experience of guys that are going to be on that field. And just to share one or two ideas, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel, but just to help these kids with all experiences we have, make a suggestion. When you get in the dugout, say, hey, you should have been over here for that cutoff. It's constructive criticism. It's trying to help these kids. What should you throw in this situation? Where should you be covering? What bag should you be covering? Where should you back up? Where's the cutoff throw? Where are you supposed to throw the cutoff? All of these things that maybe these kids haven't had the been aware of or had experience with. I think that with the cooperation of our guys, that we can really help these kids, not just evaluate them, but to actually teach them and make it an entire experience. And the other thing is to talk to them about experiences before they go to college. Do they have tutors? Do they have a coach that actually can coach at my position? Can he make me better? What's the graduation rate? Am I going to live with a baseball player? Am I going to eat training table or just with the rest of the people? Who's my roommate going to be? There are so many unanswered questions that parents are unaware of. They even said to me the other terms, man, I never thought of that. I never thought of those type of things at all. What's this coach's, what's the graduation rate? Can this coach get me on a summer team? All of these things must be considered before you go to a school. And I always felt this way. I say, baseball's important, but I think it's a good idea to go to the school where you feel most comfortable, even if you weren't playing baseball. I think there's a lot to be said for that. So regardless of Division 1, 2, 3, junior college, pick somewhere. First of all, can I play at this school? Do they have a couple All-American shortstops? And I'm a shortstop. Well, maybe I shouldn't go to that school. You need to do a very investigate who's graduating, who they recruited to come in, and be honest with yourself about your abilities. Go out and watch the school's teams and look yourself in the mirror and say, you know what? Do I have the ability to actually play here in the next couple of years? And I've seen a lot of kids sit on the bench for 2 or 3, 4 years, never play, when they could have gone to another division school, play every day, be happy, no pressure, and just be a great experience for them.
Right. And I always preach that to the players that I've been around too, is you got to be at the right school that's the right fit for you overall, because unfortunately baseball is a sport where injury or something else can always pop up and it can be taken away from you whenever you're least expecting it. And if it is, do you still want to stay there at that school? So we're very much alike on that one, Mike.
Absolutely.
So what we talked about parents a little bit and your interaction with the parents at these tournaments. What's a piece of advice that you would give to parents that have athletes in any sport?
Leave them alone. Let them play. I think that's the most important thing. I watch parents of these tournaments, and it's a matter of life and death for every at bat, every pitch. You can tell whose parent it is just by looking around and seeing the reaction on that parent's face. Oh, that must be the mother of so-and-so. That must be the mother of so-and-so. I really believe that the parents need to back off. And don't get me wrong, I love interacting with the parents. I really do. I've met a lot of great people. And here's the other thing. If you have a boisterous parent, and I'm a coach, and he's an overbearing type of guy, irregardless of that kid's ability, I might walk away from that kid only because I know I not only do I have the kid for 4 years, but I got that parent for 4 years. And you know what? I'm not going to put up with that. No way. I'm going to find another kid who's, the parents leave them alone, those type of things. So I think that's something that the parents need to be aware of. Back off, let the kid feel his way. Analysis paralysis with these kids. They have enough pressure on themselves as it is. They're heavily scheduled. Well, they might be playing football also. They're running from one sport to the other thinking more is better. I tell the kids right now that have played baseball all summer, take a month or 6 weeks off, recharge your batteries. Okay. Go to a football game, go out with your girlfriend, enjoy the fall. And then you can come back and get ready for next year. But we play all year round. We drag our kids all over the place. And it's a long year. So get away from it for a while. And parents, kind of have that mentality where you give this young man a rest. More is not better.
Right. So being involved recently with the TC Top Prospects, and TC Top Prospects being in its first year with scouting these 14 and 15-year-old players from different tournaments around the country and putting together 2 teams to go out to Arizona, what is it that you see that is different from other organizations that do something similar that TC Top Prospects is doing?
Well, I think the job, first of all, that John Cassell and Donnie Reynolds has done has been fabulous. These guys have tremendous backgrounds that people are unaware of. They need to go in and see what these guys have done the last 25, 30, 40 years and know that they're very experienced guys in all facets of the game. But repeat that question to me again. I'm sorry I got involved in.
No. With it being in its first year, what's something that you see is different about the TC Top Prospects since it's in its first year compared to some other organizations that do similar things?
One of the biggest things that I see is that our scouts tell it like it is. What are the positive things? What do you see that this kid can really work on to make himself better? Rather than make this guy sound like Willie Mays or Mickey Mantle, who a lot of kids don't know, by the way. They need to know that, hey, yes, you have some ability, no doubt about it. And there's some very good kids, but they need to know that it's a long road. And, in fact, the reports from some of these organizations, and I'm not knocking them, I'm just saying that parents, they want a true evaluation of where their kids are at this time. I mean, traveling around all over the world and scouting in Venezuela, Dominican Republic, kids of the same age, you don't have to tell them what to do if there's a ball and a bat there. Our kids nowadays, you have to, if they're sitting in the dugout, you don't have to tell them. You have to tell them everything. Go here, go there. Those type of things. There's a big difference there. Those kids are a little hungrier. It's their only way off the island. It's a very, very tough situation and very competitive. So I think parents need to know that beside the kids that we have in the States, Japan, tremendous teachers, tremendous passion for baseball. I've scouted there. I've scouted in Korea. I've been fortunate to scout, all over the world. And, I think the kids need to know that the meter is running. The meter is running. And they need to be aware that in order for them to reach their goals, that they need to work really hard, and for them to have a chance of getting to the next couple of levels. Absolutely.
Gotcha. Well, Mike, I appreciate you taking the time, man. Thanks for jumping on here with me and talking shop a little bit. And, we're looking forward to seeing you out in Arizona here in a few weeks.
I really look forward to this. First of all, we're in a good part of the country. I spent a lot of time in Tucson and the Phoenix area. I love the area. But more importantly, I love the guys that I work with. I love the kids. I love to teach. And I love to scout. So this fits right in. And I know, talking to our other scouts, that they're really looking forward to this tournament as well. I think John, like I said, John Casal and Donnie have done a great job of putting this together. And as we go forward, I think it's going to continue to be a wonderful venue.
Right. Well, awesome. Thanks again, Mike, and we'll see you soon, man.
My pleasure. Have a great day.
Yeah. Thanks, Mike. You too.
You're welcome.